Hey, Carol and Jeff, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. Shalaya, you look so happy.
She's up to something.
She looks like someone just slapped her and said, "Get up for the meeting." I mean,
No, just trying to get all this straight.
I might get you to read it. I don't know if I can do it. Okay. I need to find my glasses.
there's Trey. Laura.
Y'all ought to be glad I got pants on today.
That's a first, Carol.
It is in like 6 weeks.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. I have to dig through and see who's here. I like to say hi to everyone. Shalaya, I like the hair, girl. Hello, everyone. We're going to give like one more minute to see if anybody else shows up. Look at Crystal. She's got her face mask on. She's muted. You can't hear her.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You like my face shield?
I do. There's nothing getting through that, girl.
Nope. I gotta protect myself.
Yes, you do. It looks more comfortable than a mask, too.
It really is, actually.
She's got that on too.
It looks like a cone, like the dog cone at the vet.
This is what the pharmacist had on yesterday.
I know. A lot of the doctors have them. I like it. I like it. So is everyone here? Shalaya, are you is Shalaya on or talking? I can't hear you.
I'm here.
Okay. So are you running the slides?
Yes.
Crystal is getting everyone set up for Mega Camp. So she has to transfer all the tickets that we bought over to everyone. So it's a little time consuming. So you guys can get in and set up your plan for Monday through, is it Monday through Thursday? I think so. It's Monday night is when it launches. So anyone, Crystal, do we have extra tickets left?
We have about 14 extra tickets.
All right. So we have purchased 3 large sets of tickets. So if anyone else would like a ticket and does not have one for Mega Camp, please let us know because we're supplying them for you guys.
Rich.
And there are some really, really good breakout sessions. You're not going to be on it for 8 hours. I want everyone to know that. You pick what you want to see, and you schedule it. So I have mine scheduled throughout 3 days. But they're really good breakout sessions. So anyone who does not have them, you need to tell Crystal right away. So I want to make sure everybody is on and they can hear me. They're popping in here.
Who's ding donging?
I know. So the first thing that we want to talk about, and Carol, thank you for sending that this morning. Carol sent something really nice about 9/11. And let's remember all of those people who lost their lives on 9/11 many, many years ago. And it's always a memory for me because my son was born the day after. So is everybody here? Shalaya, do you mind moving to the next thing? So, oops, here's my sales meeting reminder. So I wanted to give a little bit of a COVID-19 update. Everyone has different feelings about COVID. I don't think any of us love it for many different reasons. I just want to remind you that when you come in the office in the main areas, to be respectful of the staff and wear your mask. If you are in your private office, you can do whatever you want in there, but don't do it, when you're in the public areas, try to wear your mask. We have had COVID in our office. We have to remember the social distancing, and it is 6 feet apart. So if you're having a sales meeting and you're closer than 6 feet, you need to wear your masks. And they're miserable. I don't like them. I don't think any of us like to wear them because we can't breathe and we can't hear what people are saying. But try to be respectful of those around you.
What about a meeting in the conference room? How would that qualify?
A meeting in the conference room. Well, if you choose to have one and you're independent contractors, so if you choose to have one, I just strongly suggest you wear a mask. I would rather you be in the big open room so you can be 6 feet apart. But like I say, you're independent contractors. So if you're in the main areas and it's open, and the door's open and it's open to the staff, please wear your masks. But I'm gonna let everyone use, their own common sense when it comes to this. And the likelihood is that we're not gonna get it, but then they say everyone's gonna end up with it one day. So just be respectful because some people have compromised immune systems in the office. Does anyone have any questions on this or want to talk about anything? Any questions? All right, we can move to the next one. Let's move to something happy. So I wanted to give appreciation, and there is a woman in Bedford who God basically placed her in my lap, who would have died in 6 months if it hadn't been for some of the people that have really stepped up to help her. It is a special treatment. She has to leave the area, so her insurance is not covering it. She needed $8,000 and we were $2,300 behind, and her treatment starts on Monday. And Tina Fryer and Stephen Acree, and his team stepped up and covered the remainder of that. So Tina gave $500 and Stephen and his team gave $1,800. I just want, it's going to make me cry. I just want to tell you guys that y'all are amazing. And the lady just cried and she sent me so many messages. I mean, she literally had a death sentence and she's only 45 years old. She has grandchildren that are young, and, it's been devastating for them. And there's fear. They're just, some people just live in poverty, and they live in poverty, and their sphere lives in poverty. So no matter how many things that we did to try to get it out there to their sphere, they just didn't have the money to give. So I just want to say thank you. And she's probably going to need more. She's our sister in this world. And, I may reach out to some of y'all, and anything that you can do. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's $100, if it's $10, and also pray for her, because this is her one chance to make it. So thank you to everyone. All right, Shalaya, let's get off of this. It's just going to get me upset. So we have happy birthdays this month. We have Joe, sweet Joe, happy birthday. Paul Etzler, Kayla Fairchild, we have lots of them. Robin Flint, Skylar Higgins, Zach Higgins, gracious sakes, Courtney Lozzie, Liz Pino, and Michelle Vandergriff. So happy birthday to everyone. Oh my goodness, we have so many birthdays. Joe, quit having birthdays, because when you have yours, I always think about mine coming up again.
Yeah, you don't want to not have any more birthdays though.
That's true. That's true. I guess birthdays are a good thing. We have a couple of new people that are joining Keller Williams. Jessie Keeble, she is in Amherst. Amherst is on fire, by the way. That office has just been growing and growing and growing. I'm so proud of them. Liz and Christina are great leaders. We also have a new commercial gentleman, Chip Duff. He came to us from a commercial division, now I can't remember the name of it, out of Richmond. And he is a very experienced commercial agent. He'll be doing some residential, but he is going to focus on growing our commercial. So if anyone has any commercial deals and they need some wealth of knowledge, he is there to help you. And you can also refer them to him. Remember, commercial is not that easy. And, you know, I don't even handle commercial, and I've been in the business a long time, because it is a lot more detailed and different than what we do.
Yeah.
So welcome them when you see them, please. I'll go on to something else. We're also working on doing an indie office, which is kind of like a mega agent office in Danville. So if any of you have worked with Danville agents and you know of them, please share them with me. I kind of want to let you know that, you know, Keller Williams has its own IDX. We're the only company that has its own IDX. And it is amazing, because in Danville, the only people that can have IDX on their website are the owners and brokers of the office. So can you imagine if someone went into your website and they started searching for houses and they couldn't, because you don't have IDX. So Keller Williams is able to provide IDX in areas where it's not available. So keep that in mind whenever you're out there with people. Shalaya, I think we've lost something here. I just see Carol and Jeff, and Carol's not paying attention.
I'm trying. The slideshow froze on me, so I'm getting it back up.
Hey, Carol, at least act like you're paying attention to me. Carol's on the phone.
I'm sending you the information on our new Danville agent, Martin Ringstead.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, he just joined. His license just got activated today. And
Fabulous. So we're growing, you know.
Yeah.
So
I was just sending it to you.
Anyone that's out there, same thing in Roanoke, in the lake area, they do not allow IDX feeds. So the agents aren't able to get them, but we are able to get them through Keller Williams on your website. And
Can I explain that a little better?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can.
Okay. So you can, no matter where you are, you can get IDX. It's just a matter of, as an independent agent, under the Roanoke system, you can only get it through the broker. Lynchburg, any agent can get it. And every MLS has different guidelines for how their IDX feed works. So when you're using your Keller Williams site, we, as a brokerage, get the feed. And then when you use your Keller Williams site, you're getting a subset of that. So that's what covers you wherever you are. And our feed, when I'm down in North Carolina, I can turn it on and I can still see every listing in North Carolina, regardless of what MLS it's in.
On your website. Yes, on your website.
Well, actually on the mobile app.
Nice.
On the mobile app.
And
Right,
so,
the KW app, right?
Yes.
Yes, I've done the same
If you have
thing.
not started getting your clients on it, it's absolutely amazing, because it locks them to you. And if they're going into a different MLS area than you're a member of, doesn't matter. They can be in Northern Virginia, look at their app, it's still going to show you as their contact person.
and so Keller Williams is the only real estate company that has its own private IDX. So I wanted to really congratulate you guys. I cannot believe that we are in the middle of COVID, and businesses are closing down, yet you guys had a record month. And we're going to see that in a second. Are you still lagging behind? So our company dollar was 102,176. We closed 148 units in our office. Our volume was over 35 million. And our profit share was really high this month, and we're over 20,000 in profit share going back to the agents. It is a fabulous month. We had 72 listings taken and 55 listings sold. So I love the fact that we had more taken than sold since we were so low on inventory. I think that's great. Our average sales price was $240,000. I mean, a few years ago, we were like at 180. So it just shows that the market is fabulous. Y'all are doing a wonderful job, and you are definitely taking your fair share. So I just want to tell you this because sometimes it helps to see how well you're doing to make you even want to go out there and do better. So thank you to everyone for everything that you've done, because you have just brought so much value into our office. And $20,000 in profit share for 1 month going back to you is amazing. So thank you. Another thing is, because Keller Williams has so many opportunities, it's not all about always selling real estate. You can do so many different things, and anyone that has interest in growing in different directions, you can still sell real estate and do other things. But I would like for everyone, we're going to send out our KPA to everyone who has not taken it. And I would love for you to take that. So this is like a personality profile that just talks about, you know, your natural strengths. We all have natural strengths, and we all have natural weaknesses. You know, so, you know, no one takes one and everyone has 100% of their strengths. But this gives you things to work on within yourself. And we'd like to sit down and go over it with you. So you're going to be getting this. I want you to set some private time aside. It takes 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes to take it. It is a timed test. So you don't want to be answering text messages while you're on it. So a few of us have taken it and not realized that at the beginning. And we were like, uh-oh, now we're timed out. But it's wonderful. And so many people say, yes, that's me. So please, when you get it, I don't want you to wonder what it is. You don't have to take it, but we would love for you to, because we might see something in it that tells us what you would be really good at, you know, down the road in your growth. Again, I want to remind you, you know, Cheryl Smith, you know, started with us not that many years ago, and she became our team leader for a short period, but she was noticed by a company in Colorado. So she was able to grow to that. You know, the same thing, you know, with Carol. Carol is now a business maps coach. So there's so many opportunities. So please keep that in mind when you take this personality profile. And the other thing is Mega Camp. We are heading into our week of Mega Camp. Monday evening or late afternoon is when you can go in, and we have a little starter party. Then you have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Please, anyone who is not signed up, let Crystal and Shalaya know so they can get you. We have some extra tickets. We bought them last night before they ran out. And we are offering these to everyone. It is an opportunity not to have to fly to Austin and not have the expensive hotel room. You're going to be able to get the experience online. And trust me, from someone who's been there to get the experience, it's wonderful, but also sometimes the classes, you know, you can't get into the classes because so many people are in there. So go in. Crystal is setting everyone up. What she's doing right now while she's not talking to us is she is changing everyone over so they can get into the site. And she'll send out an email to everyone to let you know how to get in. But I looked through it last night. It's wonderful. I set up all my little breakout sessions. They have some great ones. They have them on commercial for big teams. They have them for individual agents, for buyer's agents. They just have a lot in there. If you're looking for an ISA and someone to help you with your lead gen, they have a class on that. So don't miss it. You can pick and choose what you want to do. Gary's going to have his speech, which is one of my favorites. And then Mo Anderson is going to have her cultural summit. So bring your tissues for her. She always gets you, teared up. Does anyone have any questions about Mega Camp where you're having trouble getting in or you don't know how to navigate it? Everyone's so quiet today. So if you do have questions, you can contact me, Carol, Crystal, Shalaya. We're all here. All right, Shalaya. All right, now it's Carol's turn.
All right, where's my list of what I'm supposed to talk about? Oh, shoot, do we not have that?
Hey, Carol, I have a question for you that I wanted
Yeah.
you to answer on this.
Uh-huh,
It's a broker question.
okay.
On the septics being pumped, we're having some kickback from other companies where they're saying they don't have to pump the septic.
No, they don't have to,
It's-
unless it's in the contract.
So it's not mandatory,
Mm-mm.
but it
No.
has to be inspected by a certified inspector.
Yes. So going back on that, that was one of the things I wanted to talk to everybody about, the new VAR. And Shalaya, will you look up that email where I told you the 3 things? Because I thought they'd be on my slide. Now I can't remember what the 3 things are I'm supposed to talk about. So, so with the new Virginia Association of Realtors contract, the VAR one, we have LAR, RVAR, 7 MLSs, all different things. So I put out a video on our closed Facebook group a couple days ago with an explanation of what's happening with the septic inspection, with all the inspections. Hasn't caught up with all our smaller association contracts yet, but you need to be aware of it because it depends on what contract you're working with at the time. The new contract has merged septic, well, other than the bacteria test, home inspection into one whole group of inspections. In the new VAR contract, the buyer will pay for whatever inspection they want. And it has to be done in the same amount of time as the home inspection.
Is the buyer also paying for the termite?
I think that's, I don't remember. I think that is also in it is, no, because that has to be in that 30-day window. So that is on the other side. Now you can cross that out and say, I'm not going to do it as a seller. Just because it's in there doesn't mean it has to happen that way. It's whatever's in the contract. So that's why I say pay real close attention to the contract and the addendums, because now that the VAR is dramatically changed from the LAR one, I mean, it's a really big change. You're going to have to read through every line of every contract, and you might get an old VAR, or you might get a new VAR, or you might get an RVAR or a Lynchburg. Be very mindful of reading the contract that you're looking at and understanding what it means. Okay? Do not let your client sign something you don't understand.
Carol, I have a quick question about that.
Yeah.
You had given us an addendum for us to use. Should we just be going by the other, like VAR piece of that?
No, not necessarily. It depends on what you and your client want. There's no one right answer. This is a negotiable issue. And the LAR contract only says septic inspection. It doesn't define what a septic inspection is, does it? It just says inspection. The state has said it has to be a licensed inspector. So there has to be more definition. If you're on the buyer side, what kind of septic inspection do you want? And who's going to pay for it? Those are 2 important factors. You've got to decide that with your client. If you're on the list side and it just says septic inspection, it's pretty vague. That could mean the old school flush it down the commode if a licensed inspector will do that. What we've run into is licensed inspectors won't do the tablet down the commode anymore.
So is that addendum that you sent to us? I've just been pulling it up myself off my computer, but is it on Dotloop and KW Connect now?
Yeah, it is.
Can we put that addendum, Shalaya, into the loop so it automatically pops up? You know, like you have all the other things that pop up when somebody does it.
Only on a buyer loop. Only
Yeah,
on a
on the
buyer.
buyer loop. It just helps because, you know, when they're not in there, people miss them and then they got to dig through and you can't find them.
Exactly.
It's only on the buyer side that would come into play. Which leads me to number 2. I remembered what number 2 was. The new residential property disclosure situation. So, and everybody's running into this. All the other firms are having the same issue because LAR still hasn't updated their forms yet. It's going to take them a little while. But there's 2 parts on the new residential property disclosure. One looks just like the old one that was one line that says that you have informed or now advised your client to go to this website and see what's represented and what's not. And buyer signs it and seller signs it. That is the only document both buyers and sellers have to sign, that one page. There is a part 2 document that is like 3 pages long that some call it summary of rights. It's basically it's a printout of what's in that website. We are advising you to have your client sign it, whether you represent the buyer or you represent the seller. This does not have, you do not have to send it to the other office and make their client sign it. That's up to them if they want to. They can have their own client sign it.
So should we put that on the listing loop and the buyer loop then?
Well, it is. The thing is, what's happening is people are trying to make both parties sign it. Don't make the other party sign part 2. Only your client.
It's not on the loop. It's not automatically on the loop. You
Yeah.
need to have it put on
And
the
it's
loop
not a
and listing loop.
required document. You don't have to have it. This is just advisable that you have it.
So shall I go ahead and put that in the loop too? Like, so when they pull up a listing or they pull up a buyer, just so it's there.
Okay, but keep part 1 and part 2 separate because in all cases you won't use part 2.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
they're
will
already
only
separated
use-
in Dotloop.
Yeah, and you will only use part 2 with your client, and that would kind of go like with your right to represent a buyer or your listing agreement. You know, it
Right.
actually would probably pair with those. Part 2 is going to pair with that more so because that's not what you send to the other side. Is there any question about that, or does that make sense to y'all?
Can we just have it put as optional so that we know it's separate from the one page that both parties have to sign?
Like rename it Shalaya and put it in the regular loop. So when people are writing a listing or they're writing a buyer.
Yeah, on those 3 dots on the side, Shalai, we can make it optional instead of required.
Thank you.
Yeah, it will be optional anyway unless I change it. And it does have a different name. It's set as part 2 standard form or whatever the name of the form is.
Yeah. It's been a little confusing, and we have had some firms send it to us and make our client sign it for them. And it's not worth arguing about. I mean, you're having your client sign it anyway on your side. You can either send that one to them if they're having a duck fit.
Well, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. But you're not required to make somebody else's client sign it, only your client. Okay. And it's not like it's law that you have to, it's a cover your butt, have them sign it. Because the change in that 1-page disclosure now says advise instead of inform. And that 1 word change has changed the level of responsibility that we have to our clients.
So basically, I think everyone should just use it. Like, you know, you can't have too many things
Right.
that cover you.
Right.
It's not going to hurt anyone to sign it because at least they're acknowledging that you advise them.
Yeah. And it's primarily for your client. You don't need to get into this if you're doing a deal with another firm. You know, you don't have to do it with other people's clients. It's just for us and our clients.
Well, and people have asked us many times about just the one form, at least me, on the one single form, what's on this link? And I'm like, well, you need to go ahead and read it and give them the
So-
details. Now I need to advise them and say, well, this is what you
This is
need
what
to
it
know.
says.
Right.
There it is.
Exactly. It'll make our job easier.
I think so. I think so. It's just, 3 more pages. But everything's digital now anyway, so.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you, Carol. That's helpful.
I know there was a third thing, but I don't remember what it was. Shalaya, did you look it up? I can't hear you. You're muted.
I sent it to you, the screenshot of everything that you wanted.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a brain like a sieve and I can't remember what I was supposed to talk about. Hang on.
We're all with you, Carol.
Dot loop, dot loop,
Oh,
dot loop.
good. That's a big one.
Dot loop. We talked about this at the last month's sales meeting, and I just want to go over it again. We are using dot loop for all contracts now. Start your contract in dot loop because it keeps a timeline, and if we do have a situation where we need to go back and look at what happened when, what was sent who and where, it's all right there. The audit trail on dot loop is really, really helpful to us. And it's paid for itself. It got us $5,000 because we were able to go against somebody who said, oh, you never sent me that. Pull the audit trail from dot loop. There it is. And here's the time you opened it. It's very helpful. The other thing is it makes it so much better when you're calling one of us to help you with a contract. If you're calling me and you're trying to figure out how to do a certain form or something, if you're not working inside of dot loop, we have 7 MLSs, guys, having to hop around, whether it's Instanet or Zip Forms or whatever over here and there, it's just too hard to go to so many different places. So for compliance and everything, we're using dot loop.
And remember, we had 148 closings, which
Yeah.
means there were 148 contracts that had to be
Right.
completely reviewed by our brokers.
Mhm.
And if they have to go track them down, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and Crystal,
to get it right.
right, and Crystal, when she's going to close it, she has to look to make sure you submitted for review. Submit for review as soon as it's ratified. I don't care if you've done your inspections or whatever yet, just resubmit if you have one more document to add. Just check mark that document, submit again. It's not going to undo what's already been reviewed. This helps us stay on top of the reviews to make sure when you are getting paid, it's already been reviewed and you don't say, hey, Crystal, where's my money? Well, did you submit it for review? Well, no, or I did it 2 days ago. When we have 148 contracts to look at, it's insane. So submit for review ASAP. And with that, we are moving away from green sheets. So don't do green sheets anymore. Do not do green sheets anymore. What did I say?
Don't do green sheets anymore.
I'm not hearing that quite right. I really like the green
Don't
sheets.
do green sheets anymore.
Okay, so the Realty Group team has an exception to that?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Krista.
Uh-oh, I didn't hear that. You need to be requesting your commission through command and opportunities where it says request commission in command. So you ratify your contract, submit for review, and go into your opportunities and set up that request for payment.
So you
What
have to
that-
put the offer in before you can do the commission request and command. But it's really easy.
What do you mean?
So before the commission request tab comes available, you have to actually put the offer in and accept the offer.
Oh, you have to upload a PDF to it?
No, you just have to type in the offer, like,
Oh, the details of it. Yeah, well,
Right.
it's kind of like the same thing as a green sheet. You have to put in how much the price was, what the commission was, and the details about your client. You have to put all that information in. It's just like a green sheet, same thing.
but it's a lot easier than green sheet is.
Right.
So Shalaya, I just want to tell you, you're going to have a lot of people calling you now to tell them how to do it.
That's fine.
And I'm going to tell you whose life this is going to make easier is Crystal. See that little Crystal James right there that's hiding her face?
Yes, we love Crystal.
She won't have as many tight lips if we're all filling in our request for commission and getting it all in before the end of the month.
Okay,
Because-
so we'll
yeah.
go ahead and we're gonna give it 1 month. And Crystal, you are to tell us in 1 month who's still using green sheets. And that will include me. So
Okay.
can we go back to Dot Loop again? I just want to say
Yeah.
one thing to you guys and one
Mhm.
more thing about Dot Loop. Whether you love it or hate it or, you know, either way, it does have, like Carol said, every time you send something, it timestamps it. It's the only thing that does that. It has saved us from more lawsuits than you could imagine from people saying they didn't get it because it shows that they did. Secondly, when you submit it right away, when it's ratified, then Megan can tell you if there's something wrong with it. So if you forget something, that is your catch-all to protect you from a lawsuit. And if she never sees it until after closing, which is what can happen, she can't protect
Which
you.
happens a
Oh,
lot.
thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer said she loves Dot Loop. I love it. I love it too.
I love it. I
Well,
love
And keep
that.
in mind, when you're submitting for review, Megan sorts it by closing date. So if you don't have your closing date in there, you're going to be at the bottom of the list.
Very good point. A lot of people have not been including
Thanks,
the
Karen.
closing date. And that is how she sorts it based on what's closing soonest to make sure that if somebody has put something in 2 days before it closes, that it gets reviewed. So
But
put
it
your closing
protects
date in.
you.
Yeah.
You know
May
what?
I ask-
Once
Go
a
ahead.
year, someone has a lawsuit. It just happens. Sometimes it happens because they did something wrong, and sometimes it happens because clients just like to sue. But regardless, you don't want to have sloppy paperwork, and then you're stuck with that because you do have, you know, E&O, but you have a deductible. So PJ named her firstborn Dot Loop.
Quick question. So I don't know if this was stated in the last meeting that I might not have heard. So are we keeping Dot Loop long-term now because of all of this?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
We made arrangements. There was concern that they could sell our information, blah, 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 data, all this. And I spent about 2 days working with Dot Loop to have us opt out of that. And we as a company are opted out of the ability for them to share. And
Oh,
because
thank goodness.
we're an older company that's had a long-term contract, and we have a premier contract, we were given the option to opt out of that.
Now it
Thank
costs the
you.
company, you know, we have to pay for it. I mean, you know, it's $500
we're
a
paying
month.
$500 a
But
month. Yeah.
It's $500 a month that really could protect you guys, and we want you protected. I
Thank
like
you.
having Corey on here. Corey's right there where you can see him. We get his happy face. Hey, Corey. So does anyone else have any questions? You just keep going, Krista. You're doing good.
I ask a lot of questions, you know that.
Oh, look. Corey's got his baby with him.
Aww.
Carol, I have a quick question
Yes, ma'am.
about the septic. I've got a contract that I'm writing today. It's going to be an as-is property. It's already got a well and septic on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want it inspected or any of that. He just wants it as is. And
So
the
I
sellers
would-
agreed to it.
So there's two things I'm going to tell you. Number one, if your buyer doesn't want any of those inspections done, make sure you cross out those paragraphs in the contract. Okay? Cross them out. You can, there's a place in Dot Loop where you can do a line to line them out or cross them out and scan them, however you want to do it, cross them out. Number two, there is what's called an as-is addendum that's in there. The as-is addendum says the buyer has 10 days to do whatever they want to do, and they can buy it or not buy it. Other than that, there's no termite, no septic, nothing. So look at that, read them very carefully, but the as-is addendum is probably what you're going to want to use.
Okay, that's what I've already got my buyer to fill out. So,
Okay, but cross those other paragraphs out in the contract too, just to be very clear on it.
all right, will do. Thank you, Carol.
Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted to just share with you guys some other things. We have some really, really exciting things that we are planning in our market center. I wish so badly that we could all get together, and I'm hoping soon that we can. But we have some different, avenues for y'all to make extra money. We're working on hiring an ISA to go in where, you know, we can actually pass out leads to people that want them. So we have a lot of new changes that are coming down the pike for you guys. And I just, you know, I can't wait to be able to get it all going and announce it. So y'all stay tuned because we're excited and we're all working really hard to get this done. And also for our last thing, thank you to all the heroes, helpers, and superhumans for keeping the dream of home ownership alive. If you guys are in the market center after hours, please turn off the lights and the coffee maker when you leave so we don't burn the coffee maker to pieces. You know, since we're kind of, you know, everybody's on a little bit of a skeleton in there, you might be the only one in the office at times. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for all that you do. We love you guys so much and we're so proud of you, and we're here if you need us. Does anyone have any questions?
I want Richie to stop walking and say hello.
Y'all stay tuned to Crystal because she's getting ready to send out all of your mega camp information. Don't forget, we have a few more tickets. If you want them, reach out right away. But don't just show up on Tuesday morning. Get in there and research what you want to do. It's really easy to research it. It's kind of fun. Just seeing what classes you want to go into. And I like it too, because I have like 2 at a time that I want to go into. So I'm like, oh, let me listen to this one. If it's not as good, I'm going to go to that one. But if you do anything, please try to listen to Gary Keller and Mo Anderson. They're usually just so exciting and inspirational, and it just makes you want to get out there and conquer the world.
Thank you for doing that for us, Teresa.
You are very welcome. I'm excited to see everyone on there. All
I'm
right.
excited.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.